All right, America, I am Rich Valdez, sitting in for Frank Moreno and John Tabacco, the host of Liquid Lunch. And we have Frank on the road. Frank is going to be celebrating his nuptials this weekend, so we want to wish him a huge word of congratulations. And there he is, hard at work. Just because Frankie's not here and John isn't here doesn't mean the shenanigans stop. Again, welcome back. We are pleased to have our in-house legal analyst, Manny Alicandro, joining Liquid Lunch today. We're going to be getting into a whole lot of topics, but first I want to dive deep into what the heck is a whistleblower. Manny Alicandro, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here. Yeah, so, look, every entity, every corporation has whistleblower policies. Essentially, a whistleblower is someone that has access to information, and their identity, everything about them is kept confidential to make sure that they come forward and they tell the truth about what we need to know and what they know. The issue that I have with what transpired over the last couple of days.
So you're saying, we work together. I see that you've done something. You've just stolen $10,000 from our company.
Correct.
So I go and I'm going to say, hey, John Tabacco, Manny Alicandro just did something bad.
Correct. Absolutely.
That doesn't seem to be what's happening, though.
You're absolutely correct, Rich. So where it usually works is in a situation, let's say financial services. The Securities and Exchange Commission has very clear whistleblower protections. So if someone works, let's say, for an investment bank and they see something, direct knowledge, firsthand knowledge, there's a process where they hire a lawyer, and that lawyer goes through the rigid processes of informing the SEC that this individual has direct information. And then they go through the process in terms of informing the SEC, working with them about what they know. What's interesting about what happened the other day is this individual supposedly doesn't have direct information himself or herself. It is hearsay. So I'm struggling with how we're jumping to conclusions based upon what someone overheard or what someone is aware of through other individuals. Why didn't those individuals, I submit to you, directly themselves come forward? So if you have firsthand knowledge, so the individuals that are alluded to in the whistleblower complaint by this whistleblower, I challenge why those individuals themselves did not file the complaint.
Okay, so let's unpack that, because I think you're right on. It sounds to me like if somebody sees something, right? If I see something and I go and I tell our producer Nico that I saw something, and then he goes, it doesn't necessarily make him a whistleblower. It makes him a witness.
Right.
A witness to what I just testified, which was firsthand to me and secondhand to him.
Right.
That's a weak witness at best.
Absolutely. And it's hearsay. The weakest evidence that you have in any trial, in any evidentiary trial, is hearsay, right? You want people who could directly corroborate and confirm from firsthand knowledge. What did you see, sir, or miss? What did you see occur? What are you aware of based upon your knowledge? That kind of thing. That's the line of questioning you get into in terms of testimony.
So if I'm the whistleblower, what question would you ask me?
How did you become aware of this? And in what way did you become aware of it? And
somebody told me.
Well, why didn't you recommend to them to get a lawyer and have them directly file the whistleblower complaint? There's much more credibility to that process. So to me, this stinks, right? This reeks because of the fact that there's not a direct connection between someone who witnessed activity that's problematic and questionable or criminal potentially, right? Which everybody's talking about. And I'm not saying that's true, but it's out there. Let's talk about that, right? Is this criminal? We'll see. Apparently, from what we see in the transcript, it doesn't appear so. But nonetheless, if this is really bad and it reeks that bad, I challenge those individuals, come forward, and your identities, will be protected. Come forward, though. Speak to the congressional, the congressmen, speak to the committees, lawyer up, do what you need to do, but come forward. I don't understand why people need to hide behind third parties. To me, it lacks integrity if you do that. If people are unwilling to come forward and say, hey, I saw this, and this is problematic, and I am concerned. I'm a concerned citizen. I'm concerned about our democracy. I'm concerned about a violation of the Constitution. By all means, come forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's extremely troubling. They use in the complaint, they use the words deeply concerned.
Right.
Over and over. And what I'm deeply concerned about is the fact that we have people in our country that are lobbing allegations as if, they're giving bread to pigeons in the park. I don't think we should be able to just throw these things around and then say, hold you to this standard of conduct. If this were a criminal proceeding, would this stand up in court?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I mean, just the allegation, just making allegations against someone that goes public, okay, in terms of those allegations, and then running with his impeachment processes and inquiry. And Nancy Pelosi, my understanding is when she had her press conference, she didn't even read the complaint. So she ran herself on hearsay that other people told her about a complaint that's effectively based on hearsay. That is a weak process.
So does this open up, beg the question that this is not really impeachment, that it's really just another political hatchet job being dressed up as impeachment?
It appears that way. It appears that this is Mueller Part 2, okay? This is the continuation of a bad movie. This is the second part of a movie that they want to continue this effort to really hurt the president moving into 2020, right? We don't have really strong Democratic candidates who appear to be able to beat Trump. So therefore, they're trying to hurt Trump and look to hurt him. They thought clearly that the Mueller report would have much more of an impact. I mean, how much money did they spend? $30 million on the Mueller report? It was a nothing burger, right? So now what's going on? What are we going to do? We have to investigate the president.
Do the same thing over again.
Do it over again. And this is formulaic. If you look at the Mueller report and the processes they went through and the news and the way it was handled, this is exactly a carbon copy. But I'm also concerned, Rich, about national security. Okay, I want to know who listens to conversations that the president of the United States has with foreign officials, foreign presidents. Yeah. And can those individuals leak that information? So even if it's problematic, even if they hear something that they're concerned about, is it a violation of national security? And their protocols, if they're a member of the national security protocol, okay, and these people take oaths of office as well.
Yeah.
Can they just disclose what they hear because they're deeply concerned about that?
Yeah.
They're deeply concerned. When does that move from me being deeply concerned about this country and the Constitution to me being a political actor?
Right.
Right? I mean, that could move quickly and make a quick right turn. I'm a political actor. I have political bias and intent. Did this person intentionally go forward with this complaint, working with people, knowing what the impacts would be? That's what I'm questioning. It appears so.
And that seems to me that it damages the fabric of our very society. And speaking of damage, we talked about what you think some of the short-term and long-term impact of this might be. In a minute and a half, wrap it up and tell us what your thoughts are.
I think this is going to really mess things up in terms of our economy potentially, right? I mean, the market has done tremendously well under Trump. Trump talks about jobs. Trump talks about the economy, the Dow Jones and NASDAQ being at record levels. Absolutely true. But right now, I think the market is concerned about this. Impeachment is a very serious thing. It's only happened a couple of times in the history of our country, right? And there weren't news cycles back then, even in terms of Clinton, even in terms of Nixon, right? I mean, we're talking about a news cycle 24/7, as we know. I think this will impact the market and hurt the markets. So I think the Democrats are hurting our economy by doing this as a shield and a sword, okay? And I don't like that, okay? This is a very, very serious process. It's not being treated that way as far as I'm concerned.
All right, Manny Alicandro, the Democrats are hurting our economy and hurting our country with this pseudo-impeachment. And we've got Hispanic Heritage Month with Jaden Horan and the reception tonight at the White House. All of that and more when we come back. I'm Rich Valdez. This is Liquid Lunch.